I was like, okay, I think I can send my mom a message and be like, it was lovely to have you as my mom because I will die. I thought I was going to die.
Hey, it's Sarah, and this is Travel Like You. Today's episode is all about taking yourself out of your comfort zone. I sat down with Luca, the subculture-seeking, language-loving master's student from Brazil. We talk about his passion for rediscovering his home country, finding a new home in France, plus he gives us a taste of his month-long Thailand adventure, explains what it's like traveling as a gay man, and even sprinkles in a few near-death experiences to keep us on our toes. Alrighty, let's get started. All right, welcome to the podcast, Luca.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's such a nice thing to be here. I feel very flattered.
It's been a while in the making.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. But both parties have been busy.
Right.
But we're making it happen now. Yeah.
But Luca, not everybody knows you like I do. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Lucas. In French, we have different versions, right?
Right.
We have Luca, Luca, Lucas. I accept them all.
Okay.
I'm from Brazil. I've been here in France sort of in and out for 3 years and a half. What do? I am a master's student.
Right.
I'm about to start writing my memoir, deliver it, and graduate, which is very exciting.
Yeah. And what are you studying in your
So
master's?
I study cultural studies.
Okay.
The complete name is Cultural Studies Langue Lettres Arts. So it's sort of a mix of culture and languages,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
And you kind of make it your own in a way, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You can sort of do whatever you want when you study that. I have colleagues who are sort of going towards journalism, others who are going into like catering, like art. I'm still in culture, but I'm going more towards project management, cultural project management.
Okay. And so you've been in France on and off 3.5 years.
Yeah.
What brought you here in the first place? And tell me a little bit about your background, what your experience has been like here.
Yeah, so I say in and off because I left for a semester. But yeah, so in the beginning, I came here as an assistant, as a language assistant, which is an easy way to be here,
Yeah.
to get a visa. Although, right, we're not getting a lot of money, but
No.
it's the opportunity to be here to sort of have a broader idea about the country. I am graduated in French back
Okay,
in
yeah.
Brazil, so lettres françaises.
Nice.
So since when I was 18, I was sort of quote unquote immersed in that culture. So I had French friends and professors back home, and I was like, okay, I sort of want to discover what it is
To actually,
in Europe. It's like to
yeah.
actually be there. So I applied. Everything went actually very smooth. I was accepted like in a good position. I was like 5th place out of like 300 people.
Oh, hey.
I was like, let's go.
Start.
So the program is like 8 months long, I
Right.
think. And I stayed a little bit more. Like I managed to get sort of another visa, stayed for like a year. But I wanted to go back home to graduate. Like I didn't want to graduate here because as well as in the US, in Brazil, our majors are 4 years.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to go back to a second or a third year.
Yeah.
Like I want to have the whole thing. So I went back home for a semester and I knew I wanted to be here.
Nice.
I knew I wanted to be in Europe, at least for my young adult life. I was
Yeah.
like, that's where I sort of fit in. That's where I want to be. So I applied to this master's, but when you're abroad, you can apply to 7 universities. So I applied
Right.
to 4 in Bordeaux or 3, and then the rest elsewhere, sort of like randomly. My only thing was like, I don't want to go to Paris. I want to be in a more less touristic city where I can
Okay.
speak French and everything. And I was applied to 2 things in Bordeaux
Okay.
to study lettres françaises as a
Okay.
master's, or cultural studies. So I was like, I already studied languages. So I thought it'd be interesting to maybe try something different, to maybe get back to culture, because I was a musician in the past.
Right.
So I was sort of always, I mean, I was not an artist per se, but I would do something related to culture. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, let me get back to that. Yeah, so in total, it's been already 3 years and a half.
Wow.
Time flies.
Time really does fly. Oh, yeah. Tell me. I mean, well, we kind of arrived then at the same time because I started as an assistant and then I've been teaching at the university for the past 2 years. The next steps are unclear.
Yes.
I already have a master's degree, so I will likely not be pursuing another one. But yeah, that's a great way to get your foot in the door as like these teaching assistant programs, which I've talked endlessly about on this podcast, but really has been such a good opportunity for people who just want to get over here,
Exactly.
who can speak English, or in your case, you were doing Portuguese.
Portuguese.
right?
Yeah, I forgot to say that. So
Yeah.
I was a Portuguese language assistant. One difference, if we have Lusophone people listening to us, I mean, at least Brazilians, we can only stay for a year. So that's
Okay.
also a difference.
Okay.
Because I know for Americans, 2 years now, even three, because obviously these assistants are maybe more needed than
Sure.
the other ones, which is just normal. English is the main foreign language they all have to study
Yeah.
at school. So that can also be something that will be more like a constraint,
Yeah.
let's say,
Yeah.
right? So your time is more limited. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Something to consider is
To
like,
consider.
unfortunately, yeah, depending on what kind of assistant you are, you may not
Exactly.
have every opportunity to stay as long as you'd like, but
Yes.
there are other ways, right?
Exactly.
And so you did your master's and you started by applying to all these different universities and took the best one. And you'd already been in Bordeaux for your assistantship, no?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've only lived in Bordeaux
Okay.
in France.
Cool.
So I usually say that I'm not French. I don't know if I will be. I mean, I want to have the dogs
Yeah.
documents, but I don't know if I'll ever feel like one. But I say that I'm a Bordelais. That's for sure. Like I'm
Yeah.
from Bordeaux because we come here with at a young age, and we sort of become citizens of where we are, right?
Yeah.
Like you become part of it. And Bordeaux is sort of like my ville d'accueil. Like it's the
Yeah.
city that sort of received me and treated me so well. So I love the Southwest. I love
Yeah.
Bordeaux.
And you're really good at like exploring the region, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like I was lucky. I mean, it's obviously a personal effort.
Yes, for sure.
Because at first, when I came here, as I told you, I could have gone to Paris. I could have gone to other maybe bigger cities. But I was like, okay, I'd like maybe to live a more French lifestyle. That's why the Southwest seems like the right thing.
Yeah.
You have like the big city, but you can also be at the beach in 40 minutes. You can go to the mountains. You can go to a forest. So
Yes.
that's why I felt like this place offered so much. And the food is so good.
Yeah. If you like seafood.
People are nice
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. I was going to say, my ville d'accueil was Nantes, right? So I'm not 100% Bordelaise. But
Would not agree to that.
although I've kind of assimilated. I really do love this city. And I loved Nantes too. But yeah, everybody sort of has, I've had people on here who have had mixed feelings. Lots of people who come on here are like, I love Bordeaux. But Lucy, for example, was like, I miss Marseille. And now she's in Paris. So, it's a mixed bag. But I do, for now, I really do love Bordeaux. And I've definitely like learned the city enough to the point where like sometimes people come to visit, or people who know like and have been here their whole lives, like French people are like, what, I've never been there before, you know about this place? And
Yeah.
so it is a personal effort, like you said.
For sure. So do you feel like you've connected more to here? You connected more to here?
Yeah. Then to Nantes for sure, because Nantes, I was only there for like 9 months, and I was so new to the country that I wasn't as I guess, daring. Just to come here in and of itself was a big deal.
Yes,
So I
like
was like, okay, certain things I didn't dare to do because I didn't know, or, I wasn't speaking French at the level that I am now.
yeah,
And so you
which
just,
is so normal, right? You get here and you have so much to do.
yeah, for sure. No, I would completely agree. The first 4 months are just like, oh my God, how do I live here? And then you
Yes.
can kind of, I did take advantage of my vacations and like explore, but it was not the kind of exploring that maybe I try to do now. That's a little bit more regional or less. I don't want to put it this way, but I have no other words, like less mainstream. When
Yes.
I was in my first year here and even my second, but mostly my first year, oh my God, I did a lot of traveling during my vacations, but like I went to Ireland and hiking in the Pyrenees, and then I saw like
Yes.
every major city in France, like Lyon,
Because you're like,
Marseille,
I'm in
Paris.
Europe.
Yeah. And so you're doing, yeah, exactly. And then I went to Italy, I went to Austria, I went to Hungary, and did all the big main cities there. And
That's
so on.
nice.
And no regrets, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just interesting how like your taste kind of changes because you become, yeah, more comfortable and
Yes.
you start to say, okay, yeah, I've seen like maybe with so much gratitude, I've seen probably maybe my 15th major,
Yeah.
European city.
That's so
Maybe
nice.
I should try a smaller one or somewhere like maybe off the beaten path and stuff.
Yes.
So,
That's so funny because I
yeah.
sort of did the opposite.
Did you?
Yeah, like in the beginning, we don't have a lot of money with our
Right. Oh
with
my
what
God.
we earn in the program, although it's good enough for the amount of hours that we work.
Mm-hmm.
So I started traveling in the area. That's
That's
why,
great.
yeah,
That's
and that's
great.
why I feel like I know the southwest sort of well
Yeah.
because I could travel in a big amount of cities. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm maybe not able to name all of them, but like I have it on my phone, and I've been to a big amount of places.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of that. You know what I mean? I almost
yeah,
wish I did it in reverse. I was panicking because I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to be in France. And
yes,
I had savings, right? They tell you with these programs, you got to
yes,
come in with a lot of savings because they're going to pay you like crap.
exactly.
So I had a lot of savings and I kind of blew that doing those things and city hopping, which again is a very, at least it's like a lot of people who come from the States have this mentality too. And really anywhere, if you're outside of Europe and you're coming to
Yes,
Europe, most people are like, I need to see as many places in the short amount of time that I have as
yes.
possible.
And we're so impressed because we're
Yeah.
from huge countries.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to see it all. We're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me,
Yeah.
as you said, we don't know how long we're here for. So we just
Mm-hmm.
want to sort of explore and see
Yeah.
as much as possible.
For sure. Before we move on into all the exploring that you have done, there's something we got to do.
Exactly.
You have to tell me your no context story, one liner when you're
Yes.
ready.
So I once skied a very famous mountain. But key detail, I've never taken lessons before.
Oh.
And let's say that it sort of went downhill quickly.
Oh God. Oh my gosh, literally and
Literally
figuratively.
downhill.
Oh no. Skiing without lessons is crazy.
I know. People here, I mean, they do it since they are, what, like 5?
Yeah.
Here you have a 23-year-old with
Oh
his
no.
friends.
Don't. It's
You're
okay.
right. You're right.
No
That's good
details.
for later.
Okay.
Let's save it for later.
Yeah. Okay. Well, spoiler. Luca will probably give the context. That's okay. I love that. That's what you're here for. Alrighty. Well, we'll keep that one in mind for later. But Luca, tell me more about coming from Brazil. And we're both Americans. And I don't know South America nearly as much as I know
For the
North
moment
America.
being.
For the moment being. I have been to Argentina.
Okay.
I would love to go to Brazil one day. Absolutely would adore visiting your
I'd
country.
love to show
Oh
you.
my gosh. Okay, don't
Let's
tempt me.
schedule- let's
Don't
schedule
tempt me
that.
with a good time. I will hold you to it. But yeah, tell me more about what it was like being over there, what traveling maybe you've done in your own country.
We both come from countries that are really huge and sort of like a melting pot, right? Like there's all of these different sort of origins, right? You have European, you have indigenous, you have all of that. So Brazil is sort of the same as the US. So we were colonized by Portugal.
Right.
So Europe doesn't feel entirely different in a way, right? Because religion wise, it's the same and things like this. But there's many more, maybe layers to that.
Yeah.
My parents come from the northeast, and I grew up in the Midwest,
Okay.
which is sort of the same vibe as the US. So the Midwest means like maybe smaller towns and things are progressing, but that's how it was when I was born and everything. So I was born in a city called Goiânia,
Okay.
in the state of Goiás. So people are usually they haven't heard of it, but it's where Brasilia is. Brasilia is inside Goiás,
Okay.
the capital.
Okay.
So it was very much of a nice enfance.
Oh, how do you say that? Like upbringing, your childhood.
Yeah, upbringing, childhood.
Yeah.
We didn't travel a whole lot, but I've always had that bug. Since when I was 5, I remember traveling with my parents to their home state because I've only been there once.
Okay.
I was 5 and I was like, traveling feels nice. I remember the feeling of it, which is so
Yeah.
funny. So sort of early, I decided that I wanted to learn English.
Okay.
Yeah. And English at school was not maybe the best.
No.
So I was like, okay, what do I do? I started watching movies such as like High School Musical and like listening to singers I love to this day, like Beyonce and other pop artists. Um, yeah, and it sort of opened my world to possibilities and to
Definitely.
that's when I understood like, okay, traveling might be a lifestyle that I want to have.
Okay.
I was maybe 11 when I started on my own,
Yeah.
like watching YouTube and things like that. So
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. And it sort of gave you the opportunity to immerse yourself in American culture, British culture, and
Yes.
just see travel as an option. Because unfortunately, I do know some people who, if their English is limited, they
Yes.
hesitate to travel, or they are just less interested in it because well,
Exactly.
it just doesn't hit
Yeah.
the same way.
And I've understood sort of quickly that having a good language ability and maybe even accent allows you to connect more to people.
Yeah.
Like if people can understand you in an easier way, I mean, you can have an accent, of course. That's not a
Yeah.
problem at all. People can still connect to you, but people will maybe connect more to you. Will be more part of their society, their groups.
Right.
If you can sort of fit in
Yeah.
with jokes and
Yeah.
and expressions and
For
things.
sure.
That's why I feel like I have a lot of American friends, and it's not. I mean, it's something that's I can see I can see why, because I know this culture. I've
Right.
been consuming it.
Yeah,
know?
you can connect on. Yeah, there's definitely moments where I ask myself, I should know, maybe I know some French artists and musicians
Yeah.
and stuff, but we don't have the same education. But
Yes.
I bank on the fact that I speak pretty good French now.
Yes.
And at least, I can crack jokes and stuff like
Period.
that.
Yeah.
It definitely does help. Absolutely.
Yes, and obviously for me, even if I'm with Americans, I will understand what they're saying. But if there's a reference, if there's a merch they watched when they were 5, I was not there.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
supposed to know.
Exactly.
But these are small things. So yeah, I feel like I understood the importance of culture and language very early on in my life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool. And look, it's like manifesting in your adult life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Since when I was 5, imagine.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It was foreshadowing. And so you've got this travel bug. You're interested in new languages and cultures and stuff. And Brazil being your home country, you've found adventures there as well.
Yeah. So I started traveling a lot more when I started my high school because I would do music and my high school at the same time.
Cool.
And we would have concerts sort of all over. So I went to Rio. I remember I went to a lot of towns around my city. I was like, okay, it feels good. And they're also paying for it. So
Hell yeah. That makes everything easier.
yeah, exactly. But I have not traveled a whole lot in Brazil. I have traveled more in Europe than back home,
Okay.
unfortunately. But things are, I'm making sure I'm doing that now.
Yeah, you're going back.
Yeah, I'm going back. But a funny story that happened, the last time I went to Brazil, I was in Rio and I was like, I've never been to the islands because we have Brazilian islands like right beside, like, let's say the continent. So I was like, okay, let me go to this to this island everyone talks about. So I want to check. Ilha Grande is the name. So
Okay.
I get my ticket, and my partner is with me at the time. Already complicated because in Brazil we have a document called CPF,
Okay.
which is sort of our social security number that
Okay.
every person who lives in Brazil has, and he doesn't have it. So already was complicated to like
right.
buy tickets to like travel and things.
Okay, because you
Yeah.
need this not just for, if you're a citizen, you need this number even
You
just
need
to buy
this
tickets for places
for
and
almost
stuff?
everything.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, I mean, now that the country is becoming more and more popular, they will put on the websites an option where you say, I'm not Brazilian, and then you put your passport number.
Oh, okay.
But 2 years ago, not every website had that. So it was already
Interesting. Good to know.
difficult to
manage,
to
yeah.
manage. Because for me, it was like easy, but for him, it wasn't. So already, we need to find a way to get close to the island before we take the boat. So we take like a van.
Okay.
Like I find a van on the internet that's sort of cheap.
Okay. Like you rented it?
You rent it with
Okay.
other people as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're supposed to sort of pick you up in specific places of the city.
Oh, okay.
Already, we're there at the right time. Let's say it's like 11:30. It's 11:30. They don't show up.
Oh, no.
Midday 30. They don't show up.
Well, an hour later, they're not there? Oh, no.
They get there 2 hours later.
Oh, my God.
We're like tired. We had checked out. We were like on the street.
Yeah.
We tried calling them. No answer. We don't know why. They get there as if nothing happened. There are other people there. French people are everywhere.
Oh, really?
So there
In
are
Brazil?
French people there. We like, did the same happen to you? They're like, yes. Whatever. We're happy that the van's there. So we get to the harbor in order to take the boat to cross from the continent to the island. But important information, it rained a whole lot that day, and we're talking tropical rain,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
maybe a little different.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
people who
yeah.
have been to tropical countries,
Yeah.
it's another level.
It's yeah, like if you're not familiar with tropical rain, maybe you're familiar if you're from the other side of the world, let's say like monsoon season in other parts of the world, maybe that you understand. But
Yes.
I don't think, the average European knows
Yeah.
like torrential downpour.
Yes. And
Yeah.
sometimes it will last like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it can like destroy things.
Yeah.
So it was that rain. It was
Yeah.
it was not 5 minutes. It was some good hours.
Oh, man.
So we get there. They're unsure if we're able to cross even, like
Oh.
to the island. They're like, we're not
gosh.
sure because it stopped raining, but it's very windy. Like we don't know if you can take the boat. And it was the last boat because we were late
Right. Right.
due to the van.
Right. Oh, man.
So like, what do? We're very far from the city. We don't know anything here. We barely have service. There are a limited amount of space. Like there's a
Yeah.
limited amount of space on the boat. So we're like freaking out. What do we do? What do we do? And mind you, I'm not the most comfortable. I love the water, but I don't know how to swim.
Oh.
So I cannot stop thinking like, okay, it's raining, it's windy. Like I don't want to cross
Yeah.
like in these situations. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Be on a boat
Yes.
in like rough waters. And it's the
Yes.
ocean. I mean, you're going from mainland to an island. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. And And it's like 1 hour on a boat.
Oh my gosh.
The island is not right beside the continent. So I'm like freaking out. Like, are we sure? But obviously we have our hotel reservation. We need to be there. So we get to the boat. I'm not comfortable. And there are obviously more people than the boat can handle, sort of. Because they
No.
always do that.
Yeah. They
Plus
always
plus the suitcases
Oh no.
and everything. Plus the luggage. So I'm like, I hope we're gonna be okay. So I'm already like looking if they have like life vests and everything
Yeah.
just in case.
Oh my gosh.
So we're crossing, and the people who do it, they do it every day. They do it like
Right.
5 times a day. So they don't care. They're used to it, right? They're natives to the islands. So we're crossing. The boat is like jumping even
no.
like on the water, and people are like laughing. They put music and start like
No.
dancing, and like the guys who work on the boat, they're like flirting with the Europeans, and I'm like what's happening? I was like stressing, and people were chill. The rain started again.
Oh my god.
I was like, okay, I think I can send my mom a message and be like, it was lovely to have you as my mom. Because I will die. I thought I was going to die.
Oh no.
Like the boat was like moving in a not normal way. Like it was
Yeah.
jumping on the water.
Oh no.
And I was like, are we going to be okay? And my boyfriend's like, calm down. Like everything's going to be okay. But I'm sure he's also freaking out a little bit
Right.
too, but just like trying to reassure me and calm me down.
Oh no.
1 hour later, we get to the island. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
But that feeling of like, I'll die, it's something that like you can only understand it if you've lived that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my god. And it feels like an out of body experience because you're sitting there like, I don't know how to swim. If this thing capsizes, turns over, and you drown, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, this is it, my life's over.
yeah. And it's not as if you can do anything.
No. In one way, you're like, either I'm overreacting or they're underreacting.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
In retrospect, I think it was both
Yeah.
things, but they were surely underreacting.
Yeah.
And I love my people, but the boat did not have the capacity for all of that.
Yeah.
But we were fine. Like
Yeah.
our moment on the island was just lovely.
Good.
Definitely recommend.
Yeah.
It's called Ilha Grande. It means like big island.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was nice. Like it's very revigorating to feel like it was not my last day. So let me live it to the fullest.
Yes, good for you. So you must have had a great time on the island.
Yes. So you have different areas because, as the name says, indeed a big island.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are areas that are even like only nature.
Okay.
You don't have people living.
Nice.
People are more towards the water,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, that day was such an adventurous day. Like I like just thinking about it. So we get to the island, right? So our hotel, you need to take another boat to get to the hotel. Because you cannot walk there. It's because it's sort of like if you want to walk there, you need to go through the jungle.
Oh, God.
And
Okay.
we're talking tropical countries. We're talking animals that can be dangerous,
Yeah.
like venomous, you know.
Oh, God.
Is that the word,
Yeah.
venomous? So at least the rain calms down and we get to our hotel. Really beautiful. I recommend islands in Brazil. It's
Yeah.
really a different experience, less crowded. The nature is really, I mean, I imagine close to what it was in the past. So you have this like tropical, rich,
Yeah.
like nature that it's like just immense. Like you understand how little you are as a human being,
Wow.
which is a nice feeling. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
We're not
I'm
alone.
shit. Like I
I ain't shit.
yeah,
Like, this is their home.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
a good feeling, and also live in my country again, which is funny because when you go back, on top of all, when you're like almost 4 years abroad, you're obviously still part of your country, but maybe there are things that you haven't seen that you don't know, right? So it was also a nice experience
Yeah.
to see a different perspective of my own country that
For
I had never
sure.
seen before.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know what it's like sort of to go to different parts of the US, right? And be like, oh, I'm home, but I'm not home at all. It's just
Yes.
everybody speaks the same language, pretty much, depending on where you go. But it's an entirely new culture, quote unquote,
Definitely.
and natural landscape, especially because Florida is flat, and we have beautiful beaches and springs and stuff like that, and the Everglades, of course. But then I used to crave going to the mountains in the US. Like as soon as I went on my first like big hike, I was like, oh my God, I could do this every day for the rest of my life. So I know what it's like, to go somewhere and be like, oh wow, I've never seen this before. But at the same time, it's like familiar and unfamiliar. Have you spent a lot of time in nature? Because when I think of Brazil, I think of the Amazon rainforest, of course, but also Rio and these cities and
Yes.
Carnaval and all these
I
things.
love that you say carnaval with the French accent.
I don't know, Carnival?
Carnival.
Oh, I don't know. Because we have it here, but it's definitely not the same. What kind of other things have you seen in Brazil?
Yeah, a lot. As I said, like it was not really a thing to travel with my family. So even in my state, I could discover new things that I had never done before. So as you said, we have the Amazon, right? So
Yeah.
that's one sort of forest, but you have two other types. So you have the tropical, you have the Atlantic forest,
Okay.
and in my area, in my state, you have the Cerrado.
Okay.
Cerrado is sort of the desert. So it's
Okay.
very dry. The fruits you have are a little different. Like the natural resources are different. The animals are different. And obviously I've grown up there, but I'm a city kid. Like I grew up in the capital of Goiás. So I was like, okay, I want to discover that more. So there's a very known and big national park. Chapada dos Veadeiros.
I
the
love
name.
when you speak Portuguese.
It was lovely. So it's a park that is sort of like in three states at the same time.
Okay.
Just for
So
you to get like
big.
how big it is. So obviously we went to one very specific part of it, which was close to the city. So we traveled there, and my state is the state with the most waterfalls in the country.
Whoa.
So imagine the amount of things you can do.
Wow.
So we went to maybe like 15 waterfalls.
Whoa.
And like we took the time to discover this national park. So we went to like parts where you could see wild animals, obviously like respecting
Yes.
their habitat and everything. And I was like, I knew it theoretically before, but now I've seen it, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I don't live there anymore, so it's almost like I'm the tourist who's discovering things like in my own state.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
That is cool.
And even not nature wise, but talking about the carnival, everyone knows Rio de Janeiro Carnival,
Right.
which is the big cars, the big caravans with like the dancers,
The parade. Yeah.
and like people are like watching it. You have like basically a stadium, right, where people go there, pay for it, like in order to watch it. We call it sambódromo. It's like
Okay.
a state for samba.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you go there to watch them
Dance
and
yeah.
have, because it's a competition, right? They're competing
Right.
against each other.
Okay.
And they have prizes they prepare all year, like for that.
Wow.
What everyone knows is in Rio.
Yeah.
In other cities like mine, you go to the streets and you dance. Like it's a street
Okay.
party as
Yeah.
well as here, right? But it lasts like the week.
Nice. It's the whole week.
So the vibe changes. Brazilians
Yeah.
are already like welcoming and nice, but during that period, everyone is like a group. You're part of a group, and there's an energy that it's hard to explain. But you're part of that. So it was nice to get back to that and experience this version of Rio that I had never lived before,
Yeah.
and also other versions of it. Because then I went back to my home state and I could like dance and party on the streets and see
and
people.
you could do carnival like the big way and
The
the,
big
more
way.
Homey,
Yes.
authentic,
Yeah.
probably less touristic way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
which is as fun, as fun
If
as
not
other-
more.
if not more, I'd say.
Because you talked about, feeling part of the group, like part of the community.
Yes,
And
imagine
that
that.
is, anyone who's ever felt like, part of something knows that that's a different experience than just showing up and observing.
Yes,
Like it's,
that's the thing. I mean, obviously in Rio, people have fun, and there are also the street carnival,
yeah.
but it's less popular. So you're watching people do, and it's very beautiful, very worth it. Everyone has to
course.
go, but when you're part of it, that's a different thing. And nobody cares how you dance. Nobody cares how you're dressed. Like you're just there to have fun.
A lovely time.
That's
I love
nice.
that. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, our listeners don't know that you recently gave us all a dance lesson.
Exactly.
So one day we may just be prepared to participate and be part of it. And maybe no one cares, but we also don't want to embarrass ourselves.
Don't hesitate to let me know. I can teach you how to samba. I can teach you how to twerk.
Yeah, that was the subject of the dance lesson. We all got a little twerking lesson from Luca.
We've all improved.
Yeah, some significantly.
Yeah, even me, because there were different techniques in the house, so I was able to pick it up as well.
That's the sign of a truly good dance teacher. You picked up new choreo just on the spot and
On
then
the
taught
spot.
it to us. It was incredible.
funny.
So we'll all be, in a few years' time, we'll all be ready for
Yes, for
Carnival.
Brazil, and I hope I will be there to show you.
Yeah.
Like I hope I had the chance to show French friends, American friends, Rio and Brazil, and it's always a nice feeling to show people where you come from.
And since becoming a Bordelais and moving away from Brazil, you've done a bit of traveling, like we said, in the region and around Europe.
Exactly. So, as we were saying earlier, I mean, when you live abroad, you're part of your home country, but also part of where you live. Like you talk to people, and you're like, "I've gone to this place. I know this city." So I started going elsewhere. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, nice. I know the region. I want to see other countries, other
Yeah.
cities. So I sort of go to Portugal, for example,
Okay.
yearly.
Nice. Yeah.
I've been here for 3.5 years, and every year I go,
Nice.
like for a different reason. And I always find like an excuse to be there. I'm like, I'm here for something.
Yeah.
The culture is not that different, but it is at the same time.
Must feel good though to
Yeah.
be surrounded by people speaking Portuguese too.
Exactly.
Even if it's not the same.
Even if it's very different,
Yeah.
but still feels more like home language wise, at least than like other countries.
Of course, yeah.
So the excuse I found to be there lately is an event. I go there for a Lusophone event.
Okay.
Lusophone is people who speak Portuguese, right? So
Okay.
a Lusophone event is for people who speak Portuguese and live in Europe.
Okay.
So we go there in order to talk about important topics. It's also a way for us to continue on like spreading the culture, the language. And it usually happens in smaller towns.
Okay.
It's never in Lisbon, it's never in the bigger ones.
Right.
They do it in purpose.
Yeah.
For us to discover areas that you would not go to
Yeah.
otherwise. In last summer in 2024, we went to the Douro
Okay.
area, which sounds weird, but it's where all of the wine from Porto comes from,
Oh, cool. Nice.
right? Because we used to say Porto for, I mean, everyone says Porto for the wine, but it doesn't come from Porto. Same thing for Bordeaux, right? You don't
Yeah.
have proper Bordeaux wine, or barely.
Barely,
You
yeah.
have
It's the
Pessac,
region.
the region, right? But Bordeaux is the entity. Same thing for Porto.
Okay.
So we went to a region called Douro, and we stay in a city called Santa Marta de Penaguião. Nobody here, like even Portuguese people don't know it, so
Yeah.
don't worry about that if it sounds weird. It's usually young people, so we go, but we also party.
Yeah.
We also have fun during the night. So it's so funny because everyone knows you're there. Like everyone knows that this group is there for that. So first of all, you're so well treated. Everyone
Nice.
everyone wants to talk to you. One of the days that we were there, a couple, I think, invited everyone to go to a karaoke event.
Okay.
They're like, come, like it'll be
Yeah.
fun. We can sing. We
And
can
you're
have
gonna
fun.
kill it.
We were all like, of course.
Yes.
Like, what do you think? Do you
Luca
think we're gonna
is
sleep?
king of karaoke also.
Exactly. Key detail. I'm a karaoke person.
Yes.
Like, I'm all for the performance. So I was like, let's go. We got to the bar. People are like they're calmer than what we would have liked.
Okay.
They're maybe older, so they were like just vibing. Everyone was sitting. We're like, okay. We imagined something more like popping, right? We were like, okay, we can maybe do something for that. So we start like having fun and we start singing, right? We're a
Yeah.
big group. We're like 15
Yeah.
people.
Oh, you brought the vibes.
We were the vibe. So we start singing, like we put the classics from Brazil and Portugal.
Yes.
By the end of the party, people are like dancing. People are like inviting us to their houses. They're like, oh my God, it was so fun to have you here. And like when we're about to leave, because we need to get up for the following day for the events that we have, they're like, please don't leave. Like, it's so nice.
That's so sweet.
And then they see you, like the following day, they would see us on the streets and be like, hi, I was there with you yesterday. Like,
That's so
thanking
cool.
us for the vibe that we brought, apparently.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's cool. That's so cool that you could visit somewhere and immerse yourself, and like even the people on the street are recognizing you as like they brought the party.
Exactly. It was such a nice feeling.
I love that.
And yeah, of course, it's like a small town, so they know who's from there or not. But like we did a good job in spreading the Portuguese language. And
Nice. Very cool. And like the Lusophone event, it's like a conference essentially, and you discuss.
yeah, so we have conferences during the day, different topics,
Okay.
like European Parliament, like very different topics. And for
Okay.
every year, you have a theme.
Okay,
We'll
cool.
visit the city with a guide, but they will always like let us go to the pool club because it's just warm in
Yeah.
Portugal. And for the evening, we usually have like dinners with important people.
And is this for anyone who speaks Portuguese or just maybe is learning Portuguese? Or
So it's for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, their preferred public is the Lusophone community, as in like people whose family is
Okay.
linked to that.
Okay.
But they don't normally speak Portuguese in their daily basis.
Okay.
So you have a lot of people whose parents and grandparents are Brazilian or Portuguese, but they live in France, they were born elsewhere,
Oh.
and it's an opportunity for them to speak.
Oh,
Right.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a lot of people who speak Portuguese obviously well and natively, but they don't use it a whole lot, and it's like the opportunity for them.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to be like fluent.
No.
You may just have Portuguese family.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and this is something to just immerse you back into sort of your ancestry.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And there are a lot of people who like will go there. At first they're like, oh, I don't really speak Portuguese. And by the end of the week, because it's a week, they're doing it all in Portuguese.
Wow.
And they have new Lusophone friends,
Yeah.
which is the goal.
Yeah.
So then they will speak the language in their daily lives.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've made friends with that. I've seen people elsewhere. I've been in their houses. Like shout out to Alexandre. Like shout out to so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
So
special.
it's a nice initiative, and
I love that. And what is it called?
Luso Descendente. So the institution is based in Paris.
Okay.
So they're called Cap Magellan,
Okay.
and the event is called Luso Descendant or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Luso
cool.
Descendentes.
Awesome. Thanks. That's awesome. Cool. I can imagine anyone, even like Thomas, my roommate, he loves Portugal.
Oh yeah, Thomas
he's-
should come
Yeah.
next summer.
And my old roommate, I have another old roommate, also named Luca, who loves Portugal, spent some time there. I feel like there's so many people who may not know about this who would really, really enjoy something
Definitely.
like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know you and I both have been all over Europe at this point and not spoken a lick of the language.
Yes.
Has that ever stopped you from going somewhere?
I don't let it stop me.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
I have a few examples. Last May or April, I think, I have a friend who I also met traveling, Iris, who's from the Netherlands. We don't have the chance to see each other as often, but we always, once again, find the excuse to see each other in different countries. And we were like, okay, so she's European, she's been to a lot of countries. And we were both like, we want to go to a country that we've never been to. So we were searching, what about this and that? Okay, so Slovenia sounded like a nice option. Obviously, we don't speak the language.
Yeah.
But we're like, it doesn't matter. We want to
Yeah.
be there. We want to eat well. We want to travel. We did everything we normally do. We like a free walking tour, and we did it all. And we were wanting, once again, culture. That's the thing in my life, right? Sort of like, okay, let's do something cultural. And we saw that there was a drag show,
Ooh.
but not your average drag show,
Okay.
where you have like the classic, like the dance and the lip
Lip singing,
syncing
yeah.
and everything. It was a poetry drag show.
Oh, I like that.
So
Interesting.
we were like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
It was like €6. We're like, nice, let's go. And like you had a drink or something.
Okay, well, now every single bell in the city is ringing.
For like midday.
Yeah. This is an indicator. It is noon.
And they're not even on time.
If anyone was wondering, yeah, and they're all just a couple minutes past noon, so we're
Like the overlap.
I'm gonna insert a little interlude, wait for the bells to stop ringing, and then we'll come back. This is a special shout out to Group FenExpert, Southeast Florida's go-to specialists for premium impact window and door installations. As a family-run business since 2001, they're all about top quality products, expert installation, and keeping their customers safe. Thanks, guys. All right, and we're back. That's just something that happens all the time. I live next to all the bells. I live next to a church and two of the most iconic bell towers in Bordeaux. So pretty much bells are ringing all the time. But anyway, drag poetry.
Drag poetry.
Okay, interesting. In Slovenia.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we knew that it was probably not going to be in English, and we don't want it to.
Right.
Right?
True. I guess when you think about it, even just talking about not knowing a language, I was like, oh, drag poetry, great. And then you realize, oh,
You're in Slovenia.
you don't speak. Poetry is about understanding
Exactly.
the poet.
Yes. And
okay.
I know that drag is such an international
Yeah.
art.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't want to say comes from the US, but let's say that maybe the more popular version of it
Yeah.
is very influenced from the US. You have drag queen shows and you have RuPaul. So I knew that there would be expressions like you killed it, like you slay.
Yeah.
People say this everywhere. People say this in Brazil. People say
Really?
this everywhere.
That's cool.
And we were ready. We didn't care. Everyone was speaking Slovenia. We were
Yeah.
the only outsiders, and it felt good.
Yeah.
Like we were happy to be there. We got our seats, and the show was just amazing. They started with like performances, and then they had poetry, and I could understand that it was like humoristic
Okay.
poetry because everyone's like laughing.
Oh.
Everyone was like, wow. And then they would vote for whoever was the best.
Okay.
So they had like a top 3,
Nice.
everything. We couldn't understand anything, but just the experience to like see the community elsewhere and to like experience something entirely different
Yeah.
and to really get out of your comfort zone. Like it's just nice. I'm happy that they're this active politically.
Right.
I'm happy that this is happening here. It was different. Like
Yeah.
the way maybe, I mean, I couldn't understand it, but the way they perceive what's been beautiful is different. What they perceive funny is different. The way they will be extra is
Yeah.
different.
I was going to say drag in and of itself is this exaggerated sort of
Exactly.
thing normally. It's very expressive. So
Very
even if you
expressive.
don't speak the language, I imagine, because it's physical comedy often,
Yes.
like you can understand because you can see it.
Exactly.
And so you don't even necessarily have to speak the language or understand it. So yeah, what were their outfits like and their makeup and
It felt very new to them.
okay.
Like we could see that they were not pros.
Okay.
Because I remember even from the Brazilian scene, like everyone really, you have to be very, not classy, but you have to have like the good outfit and the
Yeah.
good colors and everything has to make sense. There, and I do not mean this in a bad way.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. You could see their hair
Under
from
the
the
wig.
wig. It was not maybe tucked. Like you can see that it's an art that's in the beginning, and that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's
that's
just
great. It
starting.
wasn't necessarily like your pro RuPaul drag
Exactly.
race sort of
Yeah.
like level drag.
Yes.
But it's the beginnings and the appreciation of
Yeah.
it that's just getting started. And they're
Yes.
doing it in their own way. That's
Exactly.
really
And to
cool.
witness that was really nice because in Brazil, in France, and the US, I was able to see it, and it was pretty much pro, even if it was not properly pro, but it felt pro. And there it wasn't, and it's a nice feeling to first
Yeah.
see it being born, and like the naiveness of it.
Yeah.
Like it was nice. It was nice,
Refreshing.
refreshing to
That's
see that
cool.
they're not caring about
Being perfect.
perfect or the looks. They're caring to have the message conveyed and to have people come and see them and to have a good moment. And that's what we felt. Everyone, even the two outsiders, we had a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great. It reminds me of a time when I went to Copenhagen with my friend Ava. I just mentioned this trip on the last episode, but a different moment during this trip. It was for her birthday, and she loves dance. She did years and years and years of ballet, and so I wanted to take her to a ballet. Unfortunately, while we were there were no shows. So I was looking around for any sort of dance concert, anything dance related. And what I found was this small show happening just outside the city, and it was like an interpretive dance. I don't even know if dance was even necessarily in the title, but it was an interpretive modern, let's say, dance
I
performance.
like that.
And I was like, let's do it. Turns out we go all the way out there, and it's like in the basement of this, like, I don't know. I bought tickets and everything, and it's in this basement of a sort of warehouse. And we show up, and everyone there is Danish, right? Everyone is Danish, and like everyone is being greeted like individually by like the organizers.
Ooh.
So we start to realize like, oh, this was maybe more of like a, not a private event, but probably meant for like people who know the people performing. And we're like, oh God, and we don't speak Danish, obviously, not even a little bit. We learned like at the time, just a few greetings and like the politesse, just the nice things to say. But we're like, hello. And then they look at us, like give us a side eye, like, I don't know you, but okay. So they let us in, and I'll admit, it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. I expected a little bit more dance, but Ava loved it, and it was for her birthday, so that's all cool. But it was actually this 3 women, I believe, 3 or 4 women who were all older. So these are women who have probably been dancing like their whole lives, but now they're doing this sort of interpretive acting sort of dance where it shows this progression of women's relationships with each other. Ooh. And so there were some parts where they were literally like half in the dark just breathing. So
very contemporary,
like, very, very, yeah, like a little abstract, you could say. And so the whole time I was like, what is going on? Because, I mean, on top of that, there's no speaking, so you didn't really have to understand the language. But there were a couple parts where I would have liked to know a little bit more what was going on. But at the same time, it was really interesting to be sort of thrust into this world that I was like, I don't know at all what's going on. I couldn't necessarily follow the line of the story, but afterward I felt like calm and
Wow.
oddly part of it, you know what I
Which
mean?
is
Despite
the
being,
goal
yeah.
for art.
Yeah, it felt cool to go and do something completely sort of random, but that was also a artistic and like cultural experience, and she loved it. She loved like, wow, that was so cool and interesting and different, and so I was happy to do that for her.
Yeah,
These kinds of things, I think you're right, are definitely something that even if you don't speak the language, it's not your culture,
definitely.
why not research little events going
Yes.
on in the place you're visiting
It
and just
is.
show up and see and
Yeah, it might be as enriching as the ballet at the opera house,
right, yeah,
but in a different way, right?
super cool. I love that. And so obviously you left Slovenia feeling enriched.
For sure.
I
It's
imagine.
such a nice country.
Cool.
Yeah, such a beautiful country. As one can see, I like the dark, not the dark, but the the subculture sort of thing,
Yeah. Okay.
in the best way.
Yeah. So
Uh,
not only are you going to new places where you don't speak the language, but you're like, not only do I want to experience a new culture, I want to experience the subculture
Give me the
of that culture.
subcultures. I want to see it all. Of
Yeah.
course, I will be going to your cathedral,
Yeah.
but I do want to see the subculture because that's where the real people are.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of a situation, a trip where I went to Germany. So it was my first trip in Europe. I was 21 and I was alone. I was like,
Oh, good for you.
my friends don't want to come with me. I'll come alone. Like I'll go alone.
Good for you.
So I went to like 6 countries. I went from like south to north. And the last few countries were like Germany and like England. And I was about to leave. So I went to Hamburg, Berlin, and I knew a friend who lived in Lübeck,
Okay.
not a very known city.
I've said this before, but sometimes when people say things and you'll know that like I don't know what to say or I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I know there. So I'll just be like, okay.
And I don't expect people to know. Like, there's a friend of mine who's lived there
Yeah.
that I just met, and we were like, oh, Lübeck? Nobody knows Lübeck. Like, how'd you know Lübeck? Anywho, so I went to Lübeck. Cute city. Nobody speaks English.
Okay.
You know the thing where, oh, every German people speaks English?
Yeah.
Not there.
No. Okay. Yeah. I imagine it's true. It's kind of a stereotype that German people are really good in English.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And it's just part of their education system. But there's definitely places where
Exactly.
it's not the case. Okay.
Yeah, and it's maybe an older city. Like
Okay.
people who are there are older. Like I went to the school where where this friend works, and I talked to the students. So that was in English, of course. I talked about Brazil to them.
Cool.
So funny. And then for the other days, he was working, and I had the time to do whatever I wanted. So I was like, okay, let me search for a cultural activity. And I saw that there was a book club slash cinema club happening. I was like, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Sounds
Why
good.
not?
I like a book. I like a movie.
That's amazing.
In the evening it was like a movie that they were watching together, and then they would have like a discussion, like a debate about it. Once again, I could have guessed that it would not be in English.
Yeah.
At the time, I knew a little bit of German. Like I knew your basics. Like I'm from Brazil. Like I'm 21. Blah blah blah. So I go there. Everyone knows each other, and I'm like, people are like, why is this guy here? Like,
Like me in
like you
in
exactly.
Copenhagen.
It really reminded me of that.
Yeah.
They're like, does he know what he's doing here?
Yeah.
But I'm vibing. So I watched the whole movie, and people are worried about me. Like the lady who's very welcome, is just like, are you sure? Like it's in German. Like the subtitles are in German. Like there's she was trying to help, but there
Yeah.
wasn't much she could do. I was like, no, I'm okay. Don't
Aw,
worry about me.
yeah.
I'm vibing.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, at your own risk.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I stayed.
Mm-hmm.
I had imagery, so I could
Yeah.
understand the main parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But for the debate,
Mm.
I was lost. And it's a nice feeling. I
Yeah.
was just like, there, I can see there, it's like getting heated, and I can see that they're, oh, because once again, something important, it was gay themed.
Oh,
It was like
right.
LGBTQ themed.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay,
Like the
cool.
club,
Okay.
the book club.
Yeah.
So they were like having, I could see it was important, nice
Yeah.
conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it sort of decentralizes you as like your main character of your trip. You're like,
Yeah.
you are seeing other people, you're seeing the locals, you're seeing how they do it, how these people from this small town in Germany
Mm-hmm.
are changing maybe
Yeah.
their city,
Mm-hmm.
with these conversations.
That's really cool. And, I imagine with the drag show and with this being an LGBTQ plus sort of environment, it's a club and they're hosting this book and movie event.
Yeah.
That's something that I imagine the one of the subcultures in the culture that you seek
Yes.
out is, how is this place sort of welcoming, or how are they discussing
Exactly.
LGBTQ plus issues?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
of course, I cannot say that I've understood the totality of it.
Sure.
But I could pick some things up, and I
Yeah.
could see that they're progressing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy
Mm-hmm.
for people who live there, and
Mm-hmm.
for the community once
Yeah.
again. So in the future, I could go back to Lübeck, because I
Yeah.
know that they're more welcoming than one could have imagined, like that
Mm-hmm.
one can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice thing.
Yeah. That is something that is limiting sometimes. You never know
For sure.
how you're going to be received.
Yes.
And, you have traveled with your partner before. I imagine, that's something you have to consider.
Yes.
You can absolutely elaborate on your experience. But
Yeah, because of course you want to be respectful of the country,
mm-hmm.
but you still want to be yourself. So
Of
it's always
course.
that thing where you need to think in advance. I have thankfully for the moment only been to countries where, even if of course things happen,
Mm-hmm.
but I could still be myself.
Good.
And I'm not a trans person, for example. So like it depends on the situation. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can pass. So that is a privilege in a way.
Sure.
But of course, you still need to think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Slovenia, for example, before I knew a lot about the country, because it was a country that I was like, I'm gonna go and I'll discover it there.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit about the country. So before I was like, okay, so which clothes do I bring? And I was with a female friend, so
Mm-hmm.
that could help in a way
Mm-hmm.
to sort of,
Yeah,
you see?
because it's like this heteronormativity
Yeah.
kind of idea, like, oh, they see a man and a woman
Yes.
who look as if they're just a man and a woman walking around. You're not going to get any funny looks.
Which
or-
is unfortunate, but
It is
it is
unfortunate,
something that
but-
one has to sort of
Yeah.
think. Like they have to be in their mind, like, okay, so what if?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have not yet lived
Mm-hmm.
a situation where I was unsafe or uncomfortable
Yeah, good.
due to those situations,
Mm-hmm.
even with Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand. You went to Thailand last
yes,
summer. That is
so
incredible.
last summer I was in
Oh
Thailand.
my goodness.
So Thailand was the first Southeast Asian country
Mm-hmm.
to legalize
Really?
LGBTQ marriage.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
1 or 2 months before we went there.
Whoa, I didn't realize it was going to be
Yes.
so recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very recent.
Oh, wow.
Last year,
Oh, wow.
2024.
Okay.
Which sort of set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, it was the first time I was going to that continent. Like I've never been. And I know that a few countries can be maybe a little,
Not as accepting.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little more
We'll put it that way.
conservative. I
Mhm.
know that they will not be aggressive towards people, but like when you're reserving a hotel, you're like, okay, one bed or two. But you're like,
I see.
what do I put on the form?
Yeah. And
You
how
know.
are you going to be received when you go? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a little bit of research before, and we were optimistic about it. And
Good.
getting there was really nice, and seeing that they don't care.
Good.
Like
Yeah.
they're really welcoming, and it is part of their culture and their history. because countries, for example, countries like India, like they are historically welcoming of LGBTQ people because it is part of their religion, their culture, but
Yeah.
they were also colonized. So
Right.
that there's that thing lingering, like
Yeah.
that lingers, you know. And
Definitely.
there are people who don't like LGBTQ people. Thailand, on the other hand, was never colonized.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't realize that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So their
Relationship.
relationship with LGBTQ people is very different. So
Okay.
you have what they call ladyboys,
Okay.
which is trans women,
Okay.
and like the opposite, right? So
And also there's trans men, trans
yeah,
women, but
yeah,
over there they call them.
ladyboys,
Okay.
they say, and they're respected
Nice.
as normal people who are part of the society. You can see them working everywhere. You can see them like eating with friends and having fun.
Yeah, they're not ostracized or
Exactly.
looked at differently. Like, it's refreshing to hear that, like,
Yes.
you know, on the other side of the world, it's something that's just normal
Yes.
because it should be.
Because it should be. And I'm not saying that nothing happens. I've only
Sure.
been there for a month and I've searched a lot, but I'm not a specialist of the country.
Yeah.
But I could see that they are integrated.
Nice.
In
And
the society.
respected as anyone else would
Exactly.
be. Very cool.
And it calmed us down when we got there and we saw that. We're
Good.
like, okay, we can actually be ourselves and just be.
Yeah.
And just enjoy.
Visit and just be
visit.
a tourist.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. And so you went for a whole month.
For a whole month.
Amazing.
It was a choice. We were like, okay, the tickets are maybe a little spiky, like it can be a
Yeah.
little expensive, and it's far. But in all,
Yeah, if you're going to take the
forms,
plane over there and spend all that
Yes.
money, you might as well really take your time.
Exactly.
That's great.
yeah,
That's great.
And once you're there, I mean, once again, it is a privilege. But if you're coming from Western countries, it's cheaper there, so you can be there for longer.
Makes
Right?
sense.
So yeah, we had the chance, like the opportunity to sort of see all of our different regions.
Nice.
So we got to Bangkok and we stayed in the region for a little. Bangkok is sort of in the middle.
Okay.
Then we went up north. We stayed there for a while and then to the extreme south. So we sort of saw different regions.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did a lot of
Yeah.
Thailand.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thailand was the country that, like, eating was a whole adventure on its own.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it was the one country I've been to where smells are smells that I've never smelt before.
Oh my gosh.
Like, the food I've never seen before, I've never tasted before. Like, everything was new. In a
Wow.
way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were wanting to try. So we would go to the simplest place and have like a blast, like having the best meal.
Yeah.
But food is spicy.
Really.
But still, I personally
Yeah.
like it. But we're talking a different
Level.
level of spiciness.
Okay.
And so when you are in more international cities like Bangkok, they know it. So when you say, oh, little spicy, little spice, they will know.
They're like tourist spice.
They will, exactly, they will know how to balance it. When you go to less touristy places,
Yeah.
I've suffered.
Oh no.
And it was good. You can feel that, like you can taste that the food is good.
Yeah.
But it's too spicy.
It's like overpowering.
Yeah.
Oh no.
In French, we say something that si ça pique à la rentrée, ça pique à la sortie.
Oh no.
Or maybe not translate that, but
Oh no.
if you do want to
Yeah,
translate.
I can translate it. Basically, Americans, they know this feeling too. If you've ever had spicy Southern food or any spicy like Latin American food, if it's spicy going in, it's spicy going out.
And that's indeed a
Oh
fact.
God. Man, and so can you tell me about the like flavor profile? So if it's spicy, what's underneath? What are the ingredients or
Yeah.
what plates did
They
you
use a lot of lemongrass, and they have their own. What am I thinking in French? So their own piment,
Okay, their own spices?
their own
Yeah.
spices, which is like native to Thailand.
Okay.
The thing is, they will put it before they fry the thing
Oh, okay.
and after.
Okay, so they're just spicing it up.
Yeah, so you have like different layers of spiciness.
Okay.
And when you see something red,
It's fire.
that's fire. Yeah. Because you know that they put like their best spice like they
Dang.
found.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have a lot of veggies that I was not familiar with, but I
Okay.
tasted it and it's naturally spicy.
Oh, really?
Natural, yeah. So they mix it all, and they put it in their pasta because a lot of pasta, a lot of rice,
Okay.
a lot of meat. So they will put it in basically all the foods,
Okay.
or most foods. So yeah, it's present like you,
Everywhere.
yeah. Like I love it, but towards the end, I was like, give me a plain bread just for a few hours.
Yeah, you just need like toast and butter.
Yes.
Something
No,
to just
seriously.
like neutralize.
Yeah, yeah.
Too
But it's
funny.
great.
Yeah, that makes so much sense that that would be part of the experience. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and it really changes from region to region, right? So everyone knows pad thai, everyone knows the national classics, but then when you go to different parts of the country, it changes a lot. Like
Yeah.
when we were on the extremes north, like there was a region where it was mountainous, and we could literally see China from afar. We could literally see Laos.
Oh, why? Wow.
Yeah, and they had all of these tea plantations as well, and the food was different too. They had a lot more of bananas on their
Okay.
savories and sweets, and tea was also eaten.
Okay. Like the leaves?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So we had like tea leaf, like soup,
Oh, cool.
and like sauces with that. So you see, just like
Yeah.
it changes a whole lot.
Yeah.
Also, it's a Chinese city in Thailand, so there's the Chinese influence.
Okay.
Right.
And when you say a Chinese city in Thailand, like that means there's a lot of Chinese influence or Chinese people living in.
So that's a good question. So historically, a lot of Chinese people went there.
Okay.
I don't know what specific period, but
Okay.
for centuries even, because it's right on the border, right? And yes, so there's people speaking Chinese,
Okay.
like they eat in a more like Chinese way.
Oh, okay.
So that was very interesting as well. We
Okay.
did not hear about the city before, but we just wanted to see this mountainous area, like this nature once again. The funny thing as well is that it was in the what they call the triangle, the golden triangle.
Okay.
Why triangle? Because it's in between three countries, right? So
Okay.
China, Laos, and Thailand. And why golden? Because that's where historically there would be a lot of cocaine exchange
Oh.
and
Okay.
and like businesses.
Okay.
I don't think it's the case anymore.
Okay. But it's kind of known for that.
But it's known for that.
Okay.
The name.
Exchange between, it's where people would go to
Yes.
do their business.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because
I see.
like the country is very safe,
Sure.
but it was the area where we saw more police and everything. Just like they're just controlling, just making sure.
That's interesting.
yeah.
So that sort of explains why, if you visit that area, you may see more police because it's maybe known for the drug trade.
Yes.
Okay,
But I think
gotcha.
for people who live there, it's not dangerous. It's
Okay.
just like they're there for the sellers or
And, you know, I imagine because it's full of these tea plantations, you know, they're exporting tea or
As
you
well.
know, exchanging
Yes.
and doing their business for that as well.
as well.
Yeah.
And people traveling, passerbys who are going to Laos, who are going elsewhere.
Okay. That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
a transient sort of place. Yeah.
It's a transit place. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. But then also you got to experience like a whole new part of Thailand outside of Bangkok that you know, showed you the regional
Definitely.
sort of like uniqueness of their cuisine because of where
Exactly.
they are. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like if you have the chance, like of course Bangkok is great. It's international. It's like big business place with the huge buildings. But you like one has to see the other parts of it, the more nature part, the beach, the islands. It's worth it.
Yeah. And so you did a little bit of all of that.
All
while
of
you were
that,
there.
yeah. So the islands are more towards the south.
Okay.
So you have all the known ones like Koh Phi Phi. We went to a few, but it was not our main goal.
Okay.
Because we knew it'd be very touristy, and it was indeed. And we knew that we wanted to have the more quote unquote local experience.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't recall the other names, but we went to the main ones where the like famous movies were recorded, like with Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently, he's a thing. Never watched the movie, but I've been to the island.
Some Leo film was filmed there. Okay.
But it can be also, it was European summer, so people travel there, but it was quite full.
Yeah.
So like if one wants to sort of avoid that, the north, Bangkok is a must, but like the north is the place to be because you will have a lot to do, but with the locals.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of celebrities, I just realized I remember last summer you going to Thailand and then us realizing this was around the time that Mudang, the little baby hippo that
so
went
funny.
viral.
We were there when Mudang was born
What?
at the same time.
Oh my God.
But she got famous, I feel like 2 weeks after we got here.
Oh, after you came home?
After we came back to France. So imagine the frustration.
Yeah. You just
I was a
missed
fan.
her.
I was watching all of the videos, following the social media. People they had a 24/7 camera.
Yeah.
I will not be there like watching 24/7,
No.
but sometimes I check. I was a fan.
Yeah. Well, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, because you kind of have to be on the internet maybe to understand, Mudang was this, she's growing up now. She's this little miniature hippo, a pygmy hippo.
Yes.
Who had like the most expressive face as a baby, and like she was like slippery and angry with her. Like she was at this zoo.
Yes.
I don't know in what city in
It's
Thailand, but
close to Bangkok.
Okay.
It's like in the outskirts of Bangkok.
okay. And so she went viral on the internet just for being adorable and like sassy.
Yeah.
And so you were there while she was,
I know.
coming into the world, but you
Exactly.
didn't get to see her.
I know. I'd love to see
Too
the
bad.
little jumping Mudang.
She's so
but
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, no. I would have gone. Like,
I
that's
believe
for a
it.
fact. But yeah, I could only follow from afar. But you cannot
Still
have it
cool.
all.
You know where she's from.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
have a connection.
for sure.
Too
Definitely.
funny. Awesome. So to be there for a month and to see so much of the country, was there any point where you felt homesick or, kind of like, okay, by the end of the month, were you kind of like, I'm
That's
ready
a
to
good
go
question. Honestly, I felt so connected to Thailand.
home? Oh,
Like first, people are so nice. Really. In a way that it's hard to find in a few countries.
yeah.
It sort of reminded me of Brazil, but like even more welcoming.
Yeah.
And I love Bordeaux. I said it before
Yeah.
a few minutes ago, but I need sometimes to be away from it
Yeah.
in order to appreciate it. And I was needing that like around that summer, around that time. And Thailand just gave me that. I was not homesick. I was happy to come back, but I started telling people that I want to live there for a bit.
Really?
When I say live, like 6 months.
Okay, yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to be in the country for a bit because you have a lot to do. People are nice. Food is good. It's safe. What else do you need?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'd be there forever, but some good 6 months.
Yeah. You could even learn another language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, speaking of not knowing the language, you're saying everybody's so nice. Is English pretty well spoken over there? Or
Not at all.
not at all?
So
okay.
not a lot of English in like international places, which is sometimes complicated, like hotels and everything. And on the streets, they don't speak it at all.
Okay.
Like it's really body language
Okay.
that we use, and we had internet. So when we really needed to like convey something important, we would say it to like translate Google, and we would have the person listen to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Thank
we did
God
it to
for
like
technology.
taxi drivers and everything.
Yeah.
Because it's I thought it was I mean, it's the most visited country in Asia.
Okay.
Maybe after Japan, I'm not sure, but it's
Okay.
those two. They are the
Okay.
most visited ones. And people don't speak English.
Interesting.
The
Yeah,
average
maybe you would
person, yeah,
expect. And that's perfectly fine.
that's perfectly fine.
Not everybody has to
Yeah.
speak English.
And that's why we were like, okay, so like, it didn't matter. We would talk to people through gestures and it would
Yeah.
really work out because they had the best intentions.
Yeah. People were just kind and
They were
welcoming.
kind.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. Although, I mean, of course, like we're in a different country, so we're the ones to adapt. But it can be a little frightening in a few situations
To not understand and have no.
to understand and to be understood.
Yeah. What do you mean frightening?
So you're in a tropical country,
Sure. Yeah.
you're traveling, so things will happen. Like you have animals and things. The water is different. Like,
Right.
And when we were on our last island,
Okay.
it was like the last 3 days
Okay. Of your whole trip?
of our whole trip.
Okay.
Or maybe 4. My boyfriend starts feeling unwell.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, why? We're trying to understand.
Yeah, and
What
at
is
this
it?
point, you hadn't gotten sick from the food, like, or the water, or anything.
Anything.
Nothing. Okay,
We-
in a
we-
month. That's
yeah,
incredible.
like
actually.
we got medicine in the beginning in order to like get acquainted with everything. Well, nothing happened up to that point,
Okay.
which we were so happy about. And towards the end, I wake up one night and his eye is like swollen,
What?
and I freak out.
Yeah.
I Google like hospitals or emergency, and I have 2 places. One has one comment is like closed,
Oh.
like for good,
Oh no. Oh no.
and the second one is 1 hour boat away.
Oh.
1
There
hour
isn't
boat
like
away.
a hospital on the island.
At least like emergency hospitals, I feel like they have their family doctors, but they would not be able to do anything for an emergency.
Right, and at this point, you guys had determined that it was an emergency. Like you said, his eye was swollen, but
Yes. So he's trying to calm me down. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Like everything's okay. I've had it before in different countries." But I'm like, "No.
yeah,
We need to do something about
yeah,
it because
it's like blowing up.
yes.
Oh, God.
It was like
Oh
blown
no.
up. And I was like, what do I do? And I'm like trying to call people. Do I talk to the staff? Because they must know. My boyfriend's like, no, don't do anything. Like, so like, okay, we get back. I try to get back to sleep.
Yeah.
The day after, it started getting better.
Okay.
We went to a pharmacy. We get like a medicine for that. But the feeling of like I'm on an island. The nearest
Hospital.
hospital is 1 hour away
Oh my
on a
gosh.
boat.
Yeah.
You know, it's the most frightening one. And once again, communicating, explaining things like this, like who's sure if the doctor would have spoken English.
Yeah.
So, and once again, it was during the night, and the boats, there's specific schedule.
Right, of course.
Like you depend on so many things,
Oh goodness.
right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was nothing serious. It was just an infection from the water. Because
Okay.
it was our vacation, so we were in between pool, sea, pool. Like, so something happened. It was not serious at all, but
Okay.
it was really
Scary.
scary.
Yeah.
It was an
goodness.
experience.
So that was probably the right time because it wasn't in the middle or at the beginning of your trip. It was the end.
It
You
was
knew
the
you were
end.
going home.
Yes. We were like, okay, the right moment for it to
Yeah.
happen.
That's enough. Too funny. Well, I'm glad everything turned out okay.
Too.
So, as we're wrapping up, if there's nothing left to say about your Thailand experience or everything that you've shared, then we have to go back to the no context that you may have
Yes.
already shared a little bit of context for. Tell me about it. Do you want to share your no context?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So the thing I said, I was 23. like my first few months in Europe. I had known our friends that we know today, and we were like, okay, we need to explore.
Yeah.
Let's explore the area.
So you were here as a language assistant with other
Yes,
language assistants
exactly.
that, we ended up all crossing paths eventually.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we all wanted to do something different. So we just went to like Paris, Lyon, and Chamonix.
Okay.
So Chamonix is towards the French Alps,
Right.
which is the cheaper we could get. 'Cause
Yeah.
you could have gone to the Alps, the Swiss
Right.
side, the Italian side.
Right.
Let's go to the French side.
Okay. The cheapest option.
The cheapest
Yeah, because the
option.
Alps are expensive, I guess.
Ski is expensive,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we actually got great deals, like the hostel and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing we didn't want to get is a teacher. Someone to teach us how to actually ski.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it. We don't need that.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
so we get one full day ticket for like to ski, basically.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we don't even understand how sporty it is.
It is a sport.
It is sport. That's the thing. We wanted to be cute. We wanted to have Instagram pictures. So first of all, to get the gear up there, that's already a whole thing because we didn't want to pay for a taxi. So going up, not the mountain, but like going up until the station where you
Yeah.
take the cable car.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, okay, that's more sporty than we've expected.
Yeah.
Getting there, like on the way, really, we were like, okay, we need to know the basics of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
A bell rang. We were like, we should know a little,
Yeah,
right?
skiing, it's downhill.
Yeah.
Whatever.
None of us, the three of us, we had never skied before.
Oh, no one knew how to
No
ski.
one.
And you all decided to take a ski trip and no one knew how to ski?
Yeah, we forgot about that.
I thought maybe one of you had skied before.
The
Oh my
one
goodness.
person who had skied before, Francesca, who was in one of the episodes, she didn't go with us because she knew she was, oh, I've done this before. But the other three, me and the other two friends, we never done this before.
Oh my gosh.
But whatever. So we YouTube it. Like it was like a 20-minute video. We watched
How
3
to ski.
minutes.
Oh my god. How to ski 3 minutes.
Literally. We're like, we're ready. So we get there, and it's not as simple as it seems. It was also a rainy day, so the snow is very slippery.
Oh my god.
One friend gives up 10 minutes in.
Oh no. You paid for all of that.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to try a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm adventurous. I can do it. So I'm like trying. So I fall down. Like it hurts.
Yeah. Skiing is dangerous.
It's dangerous. And that's when I realized it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So like I see that getting close to the cliffs, it's not something, it's fun. And since we were, because you have different areas, but we were in an area where people know what they're doing, so you don't have assistants. Like you don't have,
Oh,
you know
so
what
you
I
were
mean?
on like a slope that like
Yep,
real skiers.
yep. Because the categories are colors, right?
Yeah.
I feel you have like
Like-
blue and something. We were in the blue, which is intermediate, like intermediate advanced.
Oh yeah. Oh, not like black
Not
or
black,
black
thank
diamond or
God.
something.
But
thought that's
basically, I almost like hurt myself, and a friend almost like dies. Like she was really going towards the cliff.
Oh my god.
She realizes it, and she throws herself on the ground, like on the floor,
Oh my god.
and she stays there. Like
Just like-
she just like accepts her
Fate.
fate.
Oh my god. But she almost skied off of a cliff.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Me too, but in a less like it was less extreme.
Okay.
Because I gave up 30 minutes in.
Okay.
And she was the one to really continue, like
Yeah.
for a few, maybe 1 hour. And it was almost like serious for me, but even more,
More
so for her.
Oh my god.
And she just like laid there until one of those like jet,
Oh
like
yeah.
ski motor.
Like the ski mobile or whatever.
Ski, yeah, exactly.
One of those guys like came and got her.
They saw her, they got her. Me and the other friend, we were downstairs vibing, having like hot chocolate because we didn't know she was having difficulties, and we see her all like wet, getting in the back of the snowmobile.
Oh my
I was like, "Are
god.
you okay?" So yeah, we decided to take it slowly after. We
Yeah.
just did like hot chocolate. We went just like ice. skating,
Ice skating.
which
Okay,
is
nice.
much easier. But I decided skiing is maybe not for me.
Oh my
And
goodness.
if I ever do it again, I will hire a teacher.
Yeah. Take a little, like, do the bunny slopes, they call them.
Yes. Even if it's like one lesson, I
Yeah.
think like it's better than 3 minutes on YouTube.
Yes, it is. That's incredible. And on the Alps, it's like you couldn't have chosen a more like, iconic place to ski.
I know.
And have no experience.
That's such a foreigner thing of us as well. Like,
Yeah, we could do it.
because we always hear about like the Alps. That's not the only one. We could have chosen
Yeah.
an easier one. There are others that I've been to, even like this year in 2025, and it's for beginners. You can actually have fun. You can try.
Yeah.
No, we choose the Alps where where the professionals are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the confidence, the blind confidence
Confidence.
is what
It was
gets me.
yeah, very much so.
You're just like, who knows? Why not?
Yeah, sounds
Pourquoi
good.
pas?
But we had fun.
And have you gone skiing since? You said,
I decided that skiing is not for me.
okay, but you said you've been or you've seen at least that there's
I've
other
gone
places.
snow sledding.
Oh, sledding. Okay.
Yeah, which
yes.
is very nice, but
Yeah.
much more chill. But yes. This first week of January, I went there with my boyfriend. Chose the one that was closest to Bordeaux, and it was very nice.
Yeah.
We made sure to have like fun. We did things the right way
Yeah.
this time.
Too funny. Oh my God.
No
Yeah,
danger.
played it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned for sure. Okay. Amazing. Well, before we go, we've done your no context, but just quickly, you're going back to Brazil.
Yes, I'm going to Brazil in 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine? I haven't been in a year and a half.
Wow.
So it feels good to be going back home, to speak Portuguese, to be with the family, see friends. I'm not going to be on vacation. I still have to write my thesis, but it's going to be nice to unwind a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great. That's a nice next trip.
For sure. I'm looking forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Luca.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of
It was
course.
such a fun moment.
This was so cool. If you have not already, I gotta do my spiel. Please follow the Instagram page for any behind the scenes content, fun stuff, tips, travel information, and inspiration. And if you'd like to be featured, you can send me an email at travellikeyoupod@gmail.com or follow and DM me at travellikeyou.pod on Instagram. Also, please subscribe, like, give 5 stars, do all the things you're supposed to do so that other people can listen as well. It was a pleasure having you, Luca, and I can't wait to hear all about your travels in Brazil.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.